So the first place to start is looking at size. So Robin, this won't be very applicable to you, but Melanie, it'll apply more to yours. So the first difference with cloth nappies is whether you look at ones that are birth to potty, which usually fit from around £10 upwards, or whether you look at ones that are newborn to start with. And that usually, especially if you're expecting twins, would get you through the first kind of month or so when they're really little.
Yeah.
So your newborn nappies, if I just sort of show you, size-wise, are Diddy in comparison. So even though your birth to potty do fold down and they do go smaller, like they are massive on a baby that's say 6-7 pounds.
Okay.
So your newborn ones are the place to start.
Okay, great.
Now, a lot of people will use what they call flats to start with. So that's where you've got like a terry or a muslin, so just like a towel, and you're folding it into a shape, popping it on, and then putting a waterproof layer over the top.
Okay.
Because it's a really, really effective way to use cloth nappies very cheaply. They dry super fast, easy to wash. You can chuck them in a tumble dryer and you don't have to worry. So when you're only going to use them for the first, say, 3 or 4 months, a lot of people will go with that kind of 2-part system to save a little bit.
Okay.
All right. So all the nappies are made up of 2 parts. Even if it's in one piece, they've all got the same elements, which is like a waterproof layer and an absorbent layer.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you look at the birth to potty ones, you can tell they're birth to potty because they've got these snaps on the front that make them bigger and smaller.
Yeah.
So they just kind of fold in on themselves, if you like. I'll show you in a little bit more detail in a little while. Okay. But there are kind of 4 main types of cloth nappies. Okay. The first and easiest, but the most like a disposable, is what we call an all-in-one. I've got one here that's got the cardboard on. So your all-in-one nappy is literally all in one piece. So when you undo it, all the absorbent part is attached to the outer part. Okay. You can kind of unfold things so that when they dry, they're a bit quicker. So you can't see what I'm doing. So you can put your hand in the back and pull bits out.
Okay.
But most of it is in one piece. It's all attached.
Yeah.
So these are really, really easy when you've got, you know, used to disposable nappies, or you've got grandparents or other kind of childcare involved, and you can just have them ready to go, easy to use. There's no faffing. They just put one nappy on and take one nappy off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they can either come as Velcro to fasten, or you can get them so they're snaps to fasten as well.
Okay.
Okay. Some people like Velcro because it's more like a disposable, and you can kind of get it as tight as you want to, so you can really position it wherever you want. Whereas with the snaps, you're a little bit stuck to wherever the snaps are. You can only do it in certain positions. However, when you get to toddler age, these can be undone very, very easily.
Right.
They can't undo those very well.
Okay.
There are some escape artists that will get out of anything, but they're a little bit easier to undo later.
Okay.
Okay. But I always think if you're using a disposable, they're easy to get out of as well. So,
my point.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your easiest one. You're all in one, nice and straightforward. They do take a bit longer to dry. So a lot of them will turn inside out and things like that to dry, so that helps. But because it's all in one piece, it's all attached, it can take a little bit longer. Okay. The next type you've got is what we call a pocket nappy. So that's like this one. And similar to an all-in-one, you just change the whole nappy every time.
Okay.
So you take a dirty one off and you put a clean one on. Now, the only difference is that a pocket nappy has got the pocket at the back, which some all-in-ones got, but that's basically what it means. And the absorbent part is stuffed into that pocket, completely separate.
Okay.
So the downside of these is when you've washed them, you have to sit there and put all the nappies back together. And it can be a bit of a faff, getting your hand in a pocket and trying to get it all flat, ready to go. But once it's done, all the nappies are ready to go. So it's nice and easy again for childcare.
Okay.
Yeah. The other benefit is you can make these as absorbent as you want to. So you can add lots of these in to add absorbency.
Okay.
So if you find that what it comes with isn't quite enough, you can just add another layer and pop it in. But the more layers you add in, the bulkier it gets, and then, you know, then you have problems fitting clothes and things like that. Okay. So pockets tend to be quite popular for that reason, for the ability to kind of add more in. Okay. The third type is what we call an all-in-two. Okay. And you're probably thinking nappies can't get much more different to how we've already done it, but they can. So an all-in-two is where it literally comes in two pieces, and the absorbent part snaps onto the inside of the outer part just by a popper.
Okay.
Okay, and it just lays flat, so it's nice and easy to put together. There's no stuffing of pockets.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some all-in-twos you have to change the whole nappy every time.
Okay.
Others, the outer layer you can wipe down.
Okay. Yeah.
All you have to change is the absorbent part.
Right.
And you can just wipe that down, and that will probably last a good 3 or 4 nappy changes before the whole thing needs changing.
Okay.
Okay, so they're quite easy to put together.
Yeah.
They're very absorbent because the things that they come with, usually you can get like lots of layers to add together that usually attach to each other. Sometimes you find though that you end up changing the whole nappy every time anyway, because it's leaked too badly over the wrap. Right. So you've got to get there in time. You've kind of got to get into a rhythm with it.
Okay.
But they are really easy to use and cost effective because you can just buy lots of the inside piece and just a few of the outside.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can have a lot more nappies than you know, than wraps, if you like.
Yeah.
In a nice cost effective way.
Okay.
Okay. Your fourth type is the type I think Robin's using. And I actually have got the Little Lambs one here, where it's in 2 parts, but it's like a really thick absorbent nappy.
Right.
And then an outer layer, which is really thin, which is just the wrap.
Okay.
Okay. Now these are a little bit bulkier than the other nappies, but they can last a lot longer. And some people will use these overnight. Okay. So you can get your 12 hours out of these. Now, the downside is that they are a bit bulkier. So sometimes, depending on where you're shopping for clothes, you can't always get them all over that big fluffy bum. Okay. But what you can do is if you're using them during the day, you can, again, just wipe down the wrap a few times and just replace this part. So again, it can be quite cost effective that way. Plus, because they're so absorbent, you know, the chance of leaks and things like that from these is just very minimal.
Okay.
You can get like an extra hour out of these than you would the others. Now, when your baby's tiny and little, these are quite a good option.
Right.
Because you can leave them that bit longer. And, you know, they're just so absorbent and just so reliable. It's when they're a little bit older and they're moving a bit more and you want kind of different types of clothes for them that you kind of then end up needing to go for the more kind of the slimmer ones, if you like.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But overnight, these are absolutely fantastic. They come with little fleecy liners as well. And I'll come on to the different types of liners in just a minute.
Okay.
All right. So that's your 4 main types. Then just to throw a curveball in, you get a couple of hybrids.
Okay.
So some all-in-twos don't wipe down. So they are change them every time, but the way they put together is just that they snap together. Okay. The other type of hybrid is what we call a popper and pocket. And these are great because they give you the option and you kind of find out what works for you. And that might change as your little one grows and as they become more active and things like that. So a popper and pocket is where the shell has the space to attach on soakers, the absorbent part, by a snap, or it has a pocket so you can put the absorbent part in the pocket instead. So you get the choice. So the absorbent parts are usually variable as well. So you can get some that snap on, some that go in the pocket, some that will do both. So this one, for example, by Little Lamb is like a little tri-fold. So you just fold it up and then snap it on or pop it in. But you again would change the whole nappy every time with these because they've got a soft inside. Okay. Does that all make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely. So that's kind of your daytime options. When you come to night times, the majority of nighttime options are these absorbent nappies with a wrap over the top. Okay, but the absorbent part can vary. So you get some that are sized like this, like Little Lambs, where they're a size one, which will last you from birth up to normally about 9 months, unless like Robin, kind of outgrowing them early. And like my little boy, he barely got to 6 months and he was out of them because it was just but then you can move on to some that are birth to potty size. So you can see they're quite a bit different in size.
Yep.
Now these will usually fit again from about 10 to 12 pounds upwards. But I would say in the early days, these sized ones are better if you're going to use them overnight.
Okay.
When you outgrow those, these become a bit better because you just need them to fit so well overnight. Okay. Now this is a Bell's Bum one. So this is all hemp, which is the most absorbent material you get on cloth nappies. And you can just change the size by the snaps up and down the front to make them bigger and smaller. These will easily fit up to potty training and maybe a little bit beyond. So they're quite a good size. Not only is the nappy actually made of hemp, but it also comes with lots of boosters as well. And then they have this coffee kind of fleece lining, which is a fantastic colour for a nappy on the inside. But the fleece lining basically means that your little one stays feeling dry all night. Okay, so it's the same that like Little Lambs, these ones come with the fleece liner as well. And that's important because it just means that moisture falls through the liner and it just feels dry to the touch. So even if the nappy is absolutely drenched through, babies aren't going to wake up from a wet nappy. Can't guarantee they won't wake up, but not from a wet nappy. Okay. Now with both of those options, whether it's sized or birth to potty, you then need a wrap to put over the top. Little Lambs have their own wraps, but you can also use various different brands. So the first is to use like a normal kind of plasticky feel, PUL they call it, wrap. And some of them have got really nice features like a little fleecy lining around the edges so that they don't dig into your little one's legs and things like that. There are pull-up ones. Okay, so when they get a bit older and putting 2 nappies on in effect is just out of the question, these are fantastic. So you can just yank them up as they're crawling away. And they're nice and stretchy as well. They've got a bit of space in them. And again, they've got the kind of fleece around the tummy and the legs. So they're nice and gentle for a nice comfortable night. Or there's wool wraps. So wool, surprisingly, works even better than a PUL, like a plasticky one. They allow all the moisture to be kind of evaporated. So you wouldn't think a piece of wool would be waterproof, but they're fantastic. So with wool, you have to treat it. So you basically soak it in a solution for like 4 hours, wring it out and let it dry. And then it's got a little bit of a kind of sticky feel to it afterwards. But given a little bit of air, so you can't have like sleeping bags done up and things like that. You have to allow a little bit of airflow, but they do allow loads of moisture just to be evaporated. They're incredible. I can't even tell you the science behind them. They're just like magic, in all honesty. They just work. So we often recommend these if you've got a little one that is heavy wetting overnight, that has the odd leak, things like that, then wool is always the way to go. They just work. The other thing with wool is you don't have to wash them every time they're worn. They've got self-cleaning properties, so you can just hang it out during the day, give it a little bit of air, and it will clean itself. So you only need to wash them every 3 or 4 weeks. So again, you don't need very many of them. You probably need 2, one to be being washed and one to be worn. And then I think that's all the different types of nappies. So does that make sense to everyone? Has anyone got any questions about any of those? I'm just going to have a little sip of coffee.
No, it makes sense. Is it just a case of trial and error then, once you know what the different types are?
With the different types, it can be. So there are different nappies that will fit differently. So some nappies will suit, some brands will suit larger babies. Some brands will suit kind of smaller, thinner babies and things like that.
Okay.
There are some that are just very good all-rounders that you can't go too far wrong with. I do offer recommendations. So we base it on kind of how tall you and your other half are, and kind of lifestyle factors as well. So who's going to be looking after the baby, whether now or in a year's time or whenever we can get back to childcare and things like that. We also look at things like preferences. So whether you have a preference for a type of nappy or not. Because in every type, there's always a brand that would work for any size.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of it can be budget driven as well. Obviously, there's a big difference between the price of individual nappies. Some are like £6 a nappy. Others are nearer like £25 a nappy. So there can be quite a big difference from that side as well. Robin, did you have a question as well there?
I was just amazed by the nighttime like wraps. They're like the pull-up ones. They looked really cool.
They are
and the other, like the wool ones, look amazing. Because I sort of had heard about wool and thought, oh, I don't know about it. Because like you say, you've got to treat it, and like the idea that, you know, because you don't have to wash it all the time. I just thought, really, don't you? But it's amazing to hear it from somebody that genuinely you actually don't. So that's very cool.
Yeah, I love wool wraps. We use wool wraps a lot, and they're just easy because you can just hang it out. You do have to let them get a bit of air during the day. They do need that, otherwise the ammonia can build up. But generally, as long as they're treated well, the first time you do it, you have to treat them twice. Then they just work. But the treatment is really, you get this little tin of lanolin. It's solid. And you get a teaspoon of it. You plonk it in some hot water, shove the wrap in, and wait 4 hours. It's really, really easy. I was put off.
See, this is so awesome listening to you as well.
Ages.
Because so yeah, I'd read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'd read it and gone, is it going to be real palaver? So yeah, it's awesome to hear you say that. Actually, no, it's really simple.
So easy. So easy, I promise. So using the nappies then, they're very, very straightforward. When you've got a newborn, all the nappies can just go straight in the wash. You don't have to do anything with the poo. Okay. When they're on a milk only diet, everything is water soluble. You can just chuck it all in your washing machine. As long as you give your washing machine a 90-degree cycle once a month with nothing in it to clean it,
okay,
you're fine.
Yeah.
Have a little like alarm in your phone or something that goes off on the 1st of every month to stick a cycle on at 90 and you're golden. Okay. We do recommend newborn nappies are washed at 60 for the first few months. After that, you can either wash them at 40 or 60, depending on the brand that you've got and your preference. Personally, I tend to mix between 40 and 60. Occasionally I wash at 40, sometimes I do it at 60.
Okay.
Okay, but all you
Lorna,
do,
what about the waterproof ones? Is that like so the all-in-one ones have that waterproof bit? Can you still wash them at 60? I've broken it now. You've frozen. Broken the internet. Come back, Lorna.
normally, yeah, it depends on the brand. But if you're past the warranty, oh,
You froze, sorry, I
Oh.
didn't. Yeah, you're back now. Can you say that again?
sure. We usually recommend following what the manufacturers say, especially while you're in your warranty period, which is normally 6 months. After that, if you're outside your warranty, then it's kind of up to you what you do. A lot of nappies will say that they can be washed at 60. There's only a few that say 40. Even the all-in-ones, normally 60 is okay. But as
Awesome,
I say,
thank you.
I tend to try and do 40 just for the environmental reasons, if I can. But if they are particularly bad, then I'll probably turn them on to 60. But all you're going to do is, once the nappy's dirty, you're going to pop it into a wet bag or a bucket with a lid, store up all the dirty nappies, and then stick them straight in the washing machine. Washing them is really simple. You put them on a cold rinse first of all to wash away anything nasty, and then you're going to stick them on a really long cotton wash. We recommend to use powder to wash them rather than liquid, because liquid tends to coat the fibres, the natural fibres, whereas powder won't. And then you're going to just hang them out to dry, especially in the sunshine, because that will get rid of any stains. Sun is your friend. We don't recommend using bleach or whiteners or anything like that on your nappies. I'm just trying to think anything else you need to know. Generally, if you're finding that you get kind of leaks and things like that with the nappies, there could be a couple of reasons for that, but we have a whole troubleshooting section over on the website, and we also offer consultations. So if people are struggling, I'm always on hand just to talk you through kind of a checklist of how to avoid the leaks. Normally it's either down to needing a little bit more absorbency or the fitting's not quite right, so we just need to adjust how you're putting them on a bit. Yeah, and that's it. They're really straightforward. When your baby is weaning, that's when the poo has to go in the toilet, and that can be tricky. Now that's the part that, you know, if I'm completely honest, is not the best.
Okay.
But by the time you get to the point where they're weaning, you've kind of seen it all. What you won't get with cloth nappies is it's very, very rare that you end up with a poo explosion up the back. With disposables, that's usually a fairly regular occurrence, that it all ends up straight up the back, all over the clothes, and then you're trying to take clothes off and it's all in their hair and horrendous. With cloth nappies, you don't usually get that, but you do have to get the poo off the nappy once they're weaning before putting it in the toilet. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can either take it, you know, to the toilet and either kind of slosh it, or use a knife, or there's sort of sprayers you can buy as well. Sometimes the poo is not quite as solid as you would want it to be. Or you can use liners. Okay, so liners are either disposable, so really thin like that, and they will catch everything and you can kind of tip it and bin it.
Right.
Or you can get your reusable ones, which are fleece, similar to the ones that come in, say, like your little lambs. Okay, and they will do the same job. They will catch the poo, but they will also let your little one stay feeling dry.
Okay.
So they're quite a nice addition to a nappy. Now, if you've caught all the poo on one of these, it's much easier to get rid of the poo off one of these than it is off your lovely nappies.
Right.
So if you're particularly squeamish about it, liners are the way to go.
Okay.
As I say, by the time you get to weaning, you're probably over it all. when you've been covered in sick and poo and everything a million times by then, it's like you don't care anymore.
Right.
But
Okay,
liners
so-
help with it.
So a liner's optional then, depending on how you feel about the poo.
That's it, yeah. What liners will do as well is if you're using any nappy creams,
Yeah.
it's a good idea to use a liner just to stop the cream coating the nappy, because again, the barrier creams are there to protect your baby's bottom from moisture. So they're like a moisture barrier. If that's on your nappy, then your nappy's not going to absorb anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where liners will protect the nappy as well.
So Lorna, with the liners, so because obviously he's weaning at the moment and he's still in that transition between like the breastfed poo and the like solid poo, and so yeah, it is just not very pleasant. Yeah, totally. So we use the liners, the material ones. So do I sort of wash them separately?
No, I think if you can get as much off them as possible, if you get everything solid off, your washing machine will cope with it. So just to be, my little boy's poos are never particularly solid. And he's like 18 months now. And that happens occasionally. Like sometimes it takes them a long time. So if I use a liner, I can easily kind of flush it in the toilet and it will take everything off. There's like a little technique. You kind of hold it in and flush the toilet, and that will help kind of remove the poo from the liner without having to put your whole nappy in the toilet and kind of slosh it around. Your liner will do the job for you. You just get off as much as you can, and then your washing machine will cope with the rest. It's amazing how much they can cope with. And I always think, like, if your clothes were covered in food, you would still put them in the washing machine. You would get solid food off, obviously, but like stains and things like that, it removes it. So it will do the same for your nappies. As long as you give your machine that kind of maintenance once a month, you're fine. Now, to help, there are a couple of things that I can do. So over on the website, there is a form that you can fill in, and you can get a recommendation sent through via email of kind of everything you would need and a nappy that would, or two nappies that would suit your little ones, given your lifestyle and things like that. Or I also offer consultations. So there is a booking form on there where you can just kind of select a date and time, and then I do like a one-on-one Zoom call, and I can kind of show and explain different nappies that would work. I try not to confuse people, so I try and give you just 2 or 3 options to choose from rather than 20.
Yeah.
But they're kind of different ways that you can get a bit of advice, because I know it can be confusing. There's also, in case you don't want any advice at all and you want to work it out for yourself, again, over on the website, there are nappy guides. So you can sign up for emails and it will send you through a guide, and it will just explain all the different types. And there is a step-by-step process on the website. So you can kind of select the type you like, and then it will show you all the brands and tell you what each brand's good for. So like size and things like that. So I've tried to make it as easy as possible for people to kind of work out which nappies to go for. Yeah. Any way you prefer. And it's the same with the night nappies. There are different, all the different ones are under night nappies, so you can see the differences and how they all work as well. Right. Is that all right?
Yeah, perfect. And what is your website?
It's the Norfolk Nappy Company.
Oh, okay, great.
The other thing I do run, which is on a separate tab on the website, is Norwich Nappuccino. So it's a cloth nappy hire service. So you can hire a set of nappies, all different brands in, all different types, for 6 weeks, and just try everything out, so you can kind of see how it all works and things like that. And again, there is a booking form on the website under hire, where you can just kind of click and find out a little bit more about it all.
Perfect. Cool. And so with the with the liner things, if you have a particular brand of nappy and you think, okay, they're weaning, I want to add a liner, do you have to go with that same brand, or are there generic liners that fit in?
No, there are generic lines. Typically, Little Lambs are the ones to go for because they're just so soft. I mean, they are, I don't think you can even see how fluffy and soft they are. They're just amazing.
Okay.
So if you're going reusables, I always recommend a Little Lamb because they're just fantastic, and they stay soft as well.
Okay.
When you've washed them a few times, they're still soft. Disposable, they're all the same. They vary in size and things like that, but they're all pretty much the same. So it doesn't really matter what brand you go for.
Cool.
So that thing on your website, Lorna, sounded amazing, where you can sort of click on and it shows you, because that was the one thing that I been trying to choose cloth nappies. I was like, there's just so many, and I couldn't find a way of like organizing it in my head, you know. So that sounds like a great tool.
That's it. So if you click on the bit that says help advice on my website, then you can either follow a step-by-step kind of process to find it out yourself, or again, under that tab, you can do the questionnaire or book an appointment. Yeah, so that's what I found when I first started with cloth nappies. It was just so confusing. There's just so many different types, so many different brands. Like everyone reckons they're the best. And you're like, I don't actually know what's going to work.
And it's not the thing, isn't it? Like you say,
go on, sorry.
It's sort of like you're trying to decide what nappy you want before you've even sort of had your child often. And it's like, how am I going to know what fits and what doesn't fit and all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. And so, that's
yeah. And like sometimes you just want to touch them and feel it.
Yeah, that's it. And that's why we do the hire kits as well, so that you can kind of try them out and have a go with them.
Great.
Yeah. And again, a lot of people will hire.
So how many nappies do you get in the kit then?
25 to 30. Depends if you count the flats.
Wow.
So yeah, we usually try and do 25 nappies plus then kind of terries and muslins and things like that for people to try out, to see if they like the more traditional way of doing it as well. Yeah,
because we used the muslins when he was really little, folded with the wrap, and that seemed to work really well when he was really small.
It is a really effective way, and you can make it the size you need it because you're just kind of folding it round, so you know you don't have to worry about the nappies being too big when they're tiny. But it puts a lot of people off, the idea of having to fold it and kind of do some kind of pin and things like that. So yeah, so we do try and encourage people to have a try of it. Just a great way of doing it.
Yeah, totally. And it's the nappy nippers I found amazing as well, because obviously not knowing anything about children for years, and then suddenly I was like, they're so cool, not having that massive safety pin that you were sort of worried that you were gonna, I don't know, stab the poor child with.
That's it. Yeah. So Melanie, just for your sort of benefit, it's like this little plastic thing that's in like a triangle shape. Okay. Three-pronged, if you like. And it's just got like a little claw on each end, so you can just attach it to the nappy and it holds it closed.
Okay.
It's really easy to use, and it's safe as well. They don't kind of hurt the baby, if you like.
Okay. And do they come with the nappy packs, or do you buy those separately? Yeah,
so if you're looking to hire, then they come with the kits as well. When you're buying, you kind of select them as an add-on to your kind of flats and things.
Right.
But yeah.
Great.
How are you feeling about it all? Does it all sort of make sense?
Yeah, I think
it's more confusing.
No, it's not more confusing. It's much easier to separate the different types now, because you could Google cloth nappies for endlessly, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's really helpful. But yeah, it's difficult to, as Robin was saying, kind of prepare for something that's quite theoretical and abstract at this point in time. But no, I think that will be really helpful to get us on the right path.
I think, yeah, and because you're having twins, they're likely to be, I'm assuming, on the smaller kind of size.
Assume so, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, you are going to be starting at that newborn size. And the newborn nappies all come in the different types, the same as the birth to potty ones. Or like I say, you've got the option of the kind of flats. If you decide you want to hire a kit, then you just fill a form in to start with. And because it's twins, we would do you like a double kind of kit, if you like, but not double the cost of the hiring. So
oh, that's amazing.
if you do decide you want to try that, so that you get a good 6 weeks with kind of a trial kit and see where you get to, then just pop it on the form that you're having twins, and then I'll sort something.
Okay, brilliant.
Because that's you've got double the cost of everything, haven't you?
Yeah, no. we're looking at car seats thinking, gosh, that's quite a big outlay, isn't it? You need 2 of everything.
Absolutely. We also do when you come to buy your own nappies, again, always contact us, because when it's twins or triplet or multiples, I should say, we always do like a special code, because you need more nappies than most.
Great. Okay.
But yeah, you have to just sort of email us for that, and then we'll sort it out.
Perfect. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
I just know how much more expensive it can be. It's like you say, it's like double the cost of everything, isn't it? Like,
yeah. But you know, it's just our luck of the draw. But
but lovely.
Yeah, hopefully. And I'm really pleased you've said that we can, like, you've been quite supportive of this, because some people say twins, oh, you'll never get them in cloth nappies. Don't even bother. But no, we're quite keen to give it a go. So.
You absolutely will. And do you know what? I don't really think it makes much difference whether you've got 1 or 2 in cloth nappies. Like, you're going to be putting the washing machine on anyway.
Yeah.
So what's another load?
Yeah.
And to be honest, you know, when you've got 1 in cloth nappies, you end up having to top the washing machine up with things like muslins and towels and things like that to get the washing machine to a decent level.
Right.
With 2 in cloth nappies, you're less likely to have to do that.
Okay.
So I think you'll find it will be no different.
Great.
You just won't have to empty the bin quite so often. You know, they say per baby, you're looking at 2.5 black bin bagfuls of nappies every 2 weeks, or 3 every 2 weeks. So that's, you know, with 2, that's like 6 bin bagfuls of nappies. No, it's horrendous. You wouldn't even believe. I think when they're newborn, they're probably not quite as bad because the nappies are smaller, but it is a lot of nappies that you end up going through. So,
yeah, I was quite amazed how often we emptied our bin, because we used like the disposables for the first week or 2, and it's like, it's just ridiculous. It's crazy.
I know. It's sort of, how do you even get it all in the bin? They don't collect your bin every week.
Lorna was out. So how many? I think we've got about 18 to 20 nappies, and then I've got a few that, you know, we don't use all the time. But how many would you sort of recommend?
So when you're in the newborn stage, that's when you need the most. A newborn will go through 10 to 12 nappies every day. So depending on how often you want to wash is how many you need. If you're going to wash every other day, you need 20 per child.
Okay.
Plus there may be a few extra overnights. As they get older, you won't need as many. So by the time they're kind of weaning and things like that, you're probably down to maybe 6 or 7 nappies a day.
Okay.
And then after the first year, probably down to maybe 5 nappies a day. So it does decrease. The newborn stage is where you're really going to be going through a lot of them.
Okay.
If you didn't want to,
that's why we found to use the muslins, because we had like quite a lot of nappies, and then we used the muslins as we run out of nappies, and you're like, that was just a really handy, cheap way of having a lot of nappies.
Absolutely, yeah, they really are. And that's where the all-in-twos and things like that can come in handy as well. So even if muslins, like doing them into a shape, doesn't suit you, the all-in-twos, the ability just to change the absorbent part quickly is quite attractive. And there are loads of that type for newborn because it's a popular way of doing it. because you just need as many nappies as you can get.
So the all-in-twos, the all-in-twos, do they have quite like a bit, the bit that's in touch with the baby's skin, is it that kind of plasticky PUL stuff, or
sort of. So the PUL part is that shape, but because the absorbent part, this is a really big one, but the absorbent part takes up the majority of the space, so it's only the sides that would be touching skin, if you like, that is PUL. The soakers are usually quite large, they cover quite an area. When you're looking at, say, the newborn ones, if you don't fancy folding muslins into shapes, you can just fold a muslin into a rectangle and put it inside, as if it's one of these. Right. So it's another way of using it, and you can buy things that are called pre-folds, which are designed to do that, that go into that rectangle shape. So I would say in the newborn phase, it's always handy, however you're going to use them, to have loads of muslins on hand, because you're going to need them normally anyway. And they're not any special muslins, they're just normal muslins, because you can fold them and put them in as an emergency nappy if you decide that that route's not for you. At least you've got the backup.
Yeah.
As you get older, as I say, when you're used to kind of just reusing wraps and things like that, this type of system is good, because you can just have loads of these around if you need them and just reattach them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can I ask about the what did you call it, the buckets that you put all the dirty nappies in? Is there a particular type or brand? Because you see all these bins for disposable nappies, don't you, with nappy, bags and stuff that just seems to be adding. Is there like a recommended dirty bin for these ones?
No, honestly, if you go on Amazon and get a 14-litre bucket with the lids, do the job. That is literally all you need. Like, some brands do make these fancy buckets that like lock and things like that, which is probably handy when they're kind of moving.
Okay. Yeah.
A bit later. We keep ours in the bathroom, and I just keep the bathroom door shut. And all I've got is a bucket from Amazon with a lid, and it works perfectly well. And then you get these mesh liners. Let me just show you. Hold on. And then you can get like these to put inside the bucket.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't have to touch the dirty nappies again. You can just take the liner out and chuck the whole thing in the washing machine, and the nappies will naturally come out of the liner.
Right.
As long as you don't do it up, then you're fine.
Okay.
But because you can kind of make them tighter, they can fasten around the edge of the bucket nice and tightly.
Right.
But yeah, they're really good.
Great.
The other thing you can use instead, if you decide you don't want a bucket, is you can get very large wet bags.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're made of the same material as the nappy, so they're like that waterproof material.
Yeah.
You can get bigger ones than this. This is quite a small one, so this is what you need when you're out and about, when we're allowed out and about again.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can get really big ones, so you can just zip it up and just hang it from somewhere.
Right. Okay.
That's the other option.
Great.
Lorna, could you recommend the biggest wet bag that you know
absolutely. Le Petit Ours. I know it's a weird name. If you go on my website and just drop down, you'll see it. Yeah. And they are massive. They're these like nappy pails, but they are like, if you had a chair, they go up to like the back of the chair. Like, they're really big.
Amazing.
They don't zip up, those ones, but they do unzip at the bottom as well. So like, if it's full, you can just unzip the bottom and push it all out into the washing machine.
Nice.
Fantastic.
That's really cool. You're talking about those like mesh bags. Do the nappies wash as well when they're in there? You just have to be careful to not put too many in. Or?
They just fall out if you leave them open. When I chuck them in the washing machine, I tend to just give them a little push through the mesh, but you don't have to. You can just chuck it in and they will all come out.
Okay.
And are they on your website as well?
Yeah, they're under Little Lambs. They're the really good ones. They might be out of stock, the large ones, but they'll be back soon.
Okay.
Nice. And you said about your monthly 90-degree wash. Do you do that like just with washing powder or just as is?
No, just empty, completely empty machine.
Okay.
Put it on a 90-degree cycle and it will just clean. It's like sterilizing your machine.
Excellent. I haven't done that yet, so yeah, that's 7 months
That's
worth
right.
of washing. Needs to be
Full cloth
done.
nappy. I never did it. I didn't even know it was a thing.
And Jane's just turned up and she's got twins and she cloth nappies with her twins as well. So they're just about a year. Also, could you tell me? Well, actually, I could go on your website. But what were the brands of the pull-up wraps?
They're Petit Lulu.
Petit Lulu.
Yeah.
And again, the wool ones are on your.
They are.
Can I ask?
And navy. Pod up.
Navy. Oh, nice. Okay.
And they make all the lanolin and everything as well. So if you go that route, there is some night sets on there that include the lanolin and the wool wraps and everything.
Perfect. Okay. Are they quite a lot more expensive, the wool ones?
Not particularly. No, they're probably about, are they £20? So they're a bit more expensive, but they replace like 4 or 5, so they work out a bit cheaper in the long run.
That's awesome. Nice. Jane, I don't know if you're able to chat. She sort of looks like she's pretty busy there with the boys. But no. I'll pass on the info. She's talking about wool nappy wraps for night times. Yes.
And they all come with the full instructions on how to do the lanolin and everything. And I promise it's the easiest thing to do. It really is very straightforward. It put me off for a good 6 months. It took me 6 months to get the nerve up to think, oh, I need to look into how to do this because I can't run a nappy company and not know how to lanolize a wool wrap. But when I did it, I was like, this is ridiculous. Why have I not done this before? It's just so easy. So straightforward.
Amazing.
And they're just so stretchy as well. So they're nice and easy to put on because they're just so stretchy.
Awesome.
Which, you don't get from a PUL. They just don't stretch in the same way.
So cool. I'm sorry about the scratchy. We've got the chicken in the house, as you do. But what I was going to say as well, another question, but it's gone from my brain. No. Oh yeah. So we've got, because I bought quite a lot of secondhand, and I've got one wool. It's like tie. It's like a tie wrap nappy thing, and I've never worked out what it is. Do you know anything about it?
No. I'd be interested though. That sounds very different.
I might go see if I can grab it and have a look just to sort of show you. But it's a company called Disani, is it? I don't know if
I know. Yeah, I know the
German
company. Yeah, they normally do like pull-up wool wraps.
Right. Okay, I'm going to go just grab it quickly because it's weird. I wonder if you've seen it.
Yeah.
Sounds intriguing.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So Melanie, is it your first babies?
Yeah, first. So we're pretty clueless.
That's right. You'll soon work it out.
So well, that was quick. And
yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to find it, but yeah, so it's like a long strip.
Oh yeah,
with ties. And it's a bit like you might sort of fold it, or I've got no idea. This bit's long and like that, and then the end bit is like slightly wider. It's the thing when you buy things secondhand, isn't it? They don't come with instructions.
No, they really don't. It's wool.
Really?
you said.
So I don't even know like what to Google or, well, this is the thing, when I just looked at it, no, it actually isn't wool. No, it says it's 100% cotton.
Oh,
So I
cotton.
don't know what to be. It's soft like it should be wool, you know. So,
I reckon that's one
yeah,
that you need to
I'll spend some time one day.
That'll be a flat one that you need to put
Use it as a wrap.
You'll need a wrap over the top of it. So it's like using a flat nappy, but you must fold it in a certain way for the ties to do it up, rather than needing a snappy or a nipper.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
One day I'll solve the mystery.
If I find anything, I think I have seen the instructions on those before. If I find it, I'll email it over to you.
Perfect, that'd be great. Oh, that's really awesome. So Mel, have you got any more questions, or Jane? I don't know, you just sort of come. Have you got any questions for Lorna about nappies or?
I'm just having a look through my notes to see if there's anything else. There's quite a lot of info.
As I say, if you think of anything later, by all means, pop me an email through. Robin's got my email address, or if you go on the website, then there's like contact us bits on there as well, and it will give you all the details. But I'm quite happy for people just to send me random questions through by email. I'm always online.
Oh, fab. No, that's really good of you. Thanks. Yeah. No, this has been really helpful. So I think I'm happy. Yeah. Great.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Jane, are you poised there, or are you? 'Cause you're on mute at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm not really poised. Sorry, I didn't mean to be this late. I just got a bit held up. Hello to Mel.
All right.
And, yeah, babies 1 and 2. Coming soon.
Brilliant. Coming soon.
But yeah, no, I don't have any questions, but definitely Robin at some point, or Robin and Mel, I'll pick your brains about what you've been saying, Lorna. Sorry to miss it.
No, that's okay. As I say, if you need anything, you can soon pop me an email through. If you've got anything specific that you want to talk about, then by all means let me know. I'm always about.
Yeah, because I probably
Awesome.
I might have some questions about like pull-ups in terms of potty training a bit more intensively at some point this year. So yeah, I might drop you a line about that.
Yeah, do.
What I'm thinking, Lorna, is because obviously
Thank
we
you.
couldn't do the in-person session today because of, well, the snow and all that kind of stuff. But there's quite a lot of ladies that are part of the group that weren't able to come on to online. So maybe you might consider coming into the group another time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just let me know when you want me.
Awesome.
I'm always happy to come and bore people with cloth nappies.
Don't worry, it's great. We love it. It's a group of cloth nappy geeks. It'd be great.
Excellent. Well, I'll leave you all to your meeting because I think my little one.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming along.
No problem. It's nice to see you all.
Thank you.
Take care.
Cool. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. So how are you doing, Jane? Hello, boys.
Yeah, all right. Hi to Robin. Hi, Robin. Hi, Robin. It is Mel. So Robin and Mel, and there's Mels. Hi,
Morning. Hello.
Mels.
Oh, I say
It's a bit weird seeing them on
I
the
really need a
screen,
wee.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just ducking out because I need a wee, so I'll be back shortly.
So that was a lot of information, wasn't it? Crikey, from that nice lady.
Yeah, it was quite intense.
Yeah. But well, I don't know. It's good. I guess it's good to be able to have somebody who's done it all and knows what you where to go. Otherwise, crikey, it would be overwhelming to have all of those options and no kind of advice with it, wouldn't it?
Exactly. No, that was incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she seemed to think that having twins was no big deal. So you'll be all right.
At least for the nappy changing part. Yeah. I don't know about the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, there's someone who can tell.
Exactly.
Well, she doesn't have twins, does she? Is she qualified to say anything about what it's like to cloth nappy twins?
I think she was just
Sure.
going to fill up the washing machine halfway full with one load, then making it full with 2 sets of nappies doesn't make much difference.
Oh, I see. Okay, yes, you just have to wash more frequently. Yes, okay. I see what she's saying about that. I don't think the nappy changes are quite so easy with 2 babies, but anyway,
Okay.
it's fine. Hey, it's River. It's River. River's come on.
Oh,
River. Hi, River.
Was that wave? Was that wave? I can see the boys. Hello. It's weird on the computer, isn't it? Huh? What are they doing on the computer? Nice. Oh, but she was a very cool lady. Hopefully, we'll get her to come in and do a thing, you know, to the group, and show us all of the nappies, so we can sort of poke them and stuff.
yeah. Phew, there's a lot of options, aren't there?
Oh my God, there's ridiculous amounts of options, aren't there? Basically, like I just can't. That's what I found really off-putting, was just how many options there are. Basically,
It's good that you can
so
hire
yeah, that's really cool. So hopefully.
a set and then you can have a go. And if it's otherwise, you could end up buying ones you didn't really like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Idea if you don't like.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And she said you get like, what, 20 different types of nappies or something. It's crazy. But she didn't say how much it was, so I'm not quite sure how much it is.
Oh.
That's all right. Have a look.
I think we're going to dive out now because these guys need to eat some lunch. But I just wanted to say hello to everyone, really.
Okay, lovely.
That's great.
And,
Yeah, it was
hopefully
lovely
we'll
to see you.
all next week. Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
And
Nice to meet
we'll
you.
see you soon.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay then. Goodbye,
Perfect.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.
Bye. Awesome.
Oh, wait.
Well, I can't believe how quickly the time's gone, actually. I was a bit like, I don't know how this is going to work, but yeah, it's nearly 1 o'clock already.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid I'm going to have to duck out as well. I've got a gardener.
That's perfect. Now, thank you for dropping in.
Question. So yeah, thanks for having me, and that was really helpful. I will see you guys at some point in the near future.
Bye.
Perfect.
Right, take care. Thanks.
See you later, Mel. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, Mels.
Hey, well done. You did it.
That was not so bad, was it? I thought that was good.
Yeah. It was great having Lorna. She could have came in with a like Lorna, the nappy lady. She came in with like a fresh, information full, planned, like 40 minutes, didn't she?
Yeah, well, how great was that? That Mel turned up at exactly the time and she really wanted loads of info as well. So I was like, a bit like, we're gonna have to tell the nappy lady that she's, you know, there's no one here to listen.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, I think that's great. I just realised I'm still recording, so